Welcome, Survivor! Today we're going to be looking at Alpha 19 and their likely release date, at least into experimental. I'll also be walking through some of the updates and news that the FunPimps and Madmole have been sharing as far as the new game version. So when is the next release going to be? Well, of course no one knows, but I do have a fairly good idea of when they're going to be targeting. And of course, hearing that, you probably go like, come on, Vidui doesn't have the inside scoop. He doesn't know when it's going to be released, and you will be right and you will be wrong. Sort of, kind of. But let's back up a little bit. So let me tell you why I think and when I think it's going to be released. So first of all, end of May, Roland and the FunPimps announced their A19 Streamer Weekend application was open. And I'll leave a link in the description below. If you're a streamer or a YouTuber and you have the required followers or subscribers, why not reach out to them and actually apply? But the key thing here is that it opened on the 28th of May and it closes on the 10th of June. So it's a fairly short period, about 2 weeks. Now, what is the Alpha 19 Stream Team? Well, it's similar to the previous ones where you apply. If you have the required followers or subscribers, then you can be brought into the Stream Team. Stream Team enables you to get the early access version of Alpha 19 the weekend before the experimental release. Why? Of course, they want to get the game out there. They want to get the version out there with the streamers and YouTubers so that people will be excited, so that people will have something to look at and look forward to the Monday when it's released. And as part of this, of course, we've been given some little bit more of additional information so we can plan our streaming and our videos. And of course, that is the first part of it. Now, we don't have the exact date that they will be releasing it because they don't know themselves. But let's look at the second part. So, the big Steam summer sale begins on the 25th of June. And they have told us to plan around that date. Now, this means that I suspect they are targeting the third week of June, which would allow them to release the experimental around the 19th of June, have the streamer weekend until Monday the 22nd, and then the Steam sale kicks off on the 25th, where everyone is hyped and excited. It's also possible that they won't quite be done in time, so that the Steam sale will start on the 25th, the streamer weekend goes in on the 26th until the 28th, and the experimental releases on the 29th. But I think they are actually aiming on the 19th. Again, it's not confirmed. They have said, however, that by Monday or Tuesday on the week that they are releasing, they will be able to give us a heads up. So on the 15th or 16th, I should have a fairly good idea if it's happening that week or the next week. Of course, this is not set in stone. This is partly my own speculation based on what they have communicated, but they've definitely in the past been releasing around the Steam sales. So if nothing else, combined with the streamer Alpha 19 streamer application closing on 10th, that seems to actually make sense. So how then does this apply to you? Well, if they release on the 19th to the stream team, that means that on the 22nd you will have access. If they release on the 26th instead to the stream team, you'll be able to watch me and other streamers of the weekend and get your hands on the experimental on the 29th of June. Of course, all this could be delayed further if they run into any other issues, but I suspect they will do what they can to release like that. Well, let's switch to some of the game news. So, on the forums, Madmole, and you can see Madmole, have started saying that he's gonna put out videos soon. And he said this was a couple of days ago, so I believe he's probably looking at making videos for Alpha 19 starting this week to give us some gameplay information and actually be able to watch him play. I think this should be really exciting. As you know from the previous releases, it's really nice to watch him play, see how he experiences, but also pick up various tips and information about what's coming. And the FunPimps have been working at the different POIs, and we see the Crack-a-Book here and one of the HD zombies, which really looks awesome. I'm really glad they've been updating the look because they have been dated. I wish they had turned up the depth of field here so we could see a little bit more details in the distance as well, but at least the zombie looks really, really cool. It would be nice if they had more of the different types of textures or look for the same zombie type. So let's say this is Steve, let's say this is one of them. You could have a second one which has maybe a slightly different look on the face, different haircut, maybe different clothes, just to give it a little bit more variation. Another item that was highlighted was they have added these bookshelves that look amazing, definitely better than on the previous versions. So it really looks like there's some books there that you could be picking up. I hope you'll be able to craft these yourselves, because there are bookshelves in the game right now, but they're kind of crappy. They're like one-dimensional, like a photo kind of thing. And this would give a sort of that 3D look to really decorate your base. And Keen Eyes have been spotting things that weren't quite intended for discussion, I think, but for instance, a new knife. Now, is this a new one? Is this a new texture only? Or is it a new item? I suspect that they have been updating the different weapons, but they've also been adding new ones. So the dagger or the knife looks like it's a new one. Maybe it's the steel version of something that you can get early on, such as a only stone or iron dagger. Of course, here you have another of the HD textured zombies that looks a little bit fuzzy. I wonder why, but it looks really nice. Hopefully it looks better up close. It looks a little bit weird here. I'm not really sure why. Maybe because the colors sort of blend mush together, not sure, but definitely it's an updated look from earlier versions. And you see here the new fat mama who doesn't have any shoes. But it's a concept anyway that they're working on as far as the animation and as they're drawing and texturing and everything. It looks really, really good. Compared to the previous ones, this looks, well, I'm not going to say attractive, but it looks really, really good. And she does look hungry. You might be on the menu. Now, Madmol has been highlighting that, well, the engine has had an upgrade as far as lightning. And it looks really, really good. Of course, it depends on what kind of settings you have, but the new lighting, the shadows looks really good. And there are two things that actually I can see here. One, if you look at the top, there's a yellow Jeep icon, which I guess highlights that it's your Jeep. And you can see that here as well on the UI. So I think that it's going to be showing maybe yellow for your own vehicles, and you'll be able to see which vehicle it is as well in your sort of the compass. And that's really cool. A second thing is that if you look down here, I see here on the second slot, it has that steel club, the wrench, mechanic club, whatever. That looks really nice and violent. But what's this on the third one? That looks a little bit like a battle axe or something, or a hand axe or something. Not a normal axe to chop wood, but really something that you would be using to kill zombies with. And maybe, just maybe, this is an upgrade from the regular stone axe. And I know they have the fireman's axe, iron and steel axe and everything, but maybe this is just more for killing, more for melee and not just for chopping wood. That would be really nice, because we do have the club, we have sledgehammer, but come on, who doesn't want to have a nice battle axe? And Joel has been showing some pictures from his last playthrough. So what he usually does, he goes through the game, starts over, and tries the new kind of professional, new type of build. So this is one of the builds he has done, and when I'm talking about base build, I'm talking about a character build. Now, of course, you have a certain type of character build. He might also make the base itself to sort of fit along with that. But this is one of the ones that he had, and looks really, really good. I mean, Madball is kind of an artistic person. You can tell if you've been around that he likes to do the artistic stuff. He's been doing animations, he's been doing textures, he's been doing, you know, the zombies and everything, and he likes to build, and he makes them look quite cool. I mean, this looks really like a castle type, and I like the way he's put it together. I'm not really sure whether this is just a brick or whether it's actually reinforced concrete that has been painted brick, but it looks really nice. Castle Madmol, and I like he's been using the colors and everything to sort of make it look like some the streamers that hang down along the wall. And you can see from a distance, interesting. So this is, what struck me here is that this is quite a distance to his base, but it's all rendering in. Isn't that a little bit too far for POI to render it? Maybe it's really maxed it out. What I would like to see, and I'm sure we're not going to get that on Alpha 19, unfortunately, would be a distant POI render even of player-made bases. I don't think that's quite what he's teasing here, but the distance here seems quite far actually, but maybe he's moved himself as far away as he can while still having it rendered in the distance. But it would be cool if you could even do the if you could even do the distant POI rendering with your player-made bases, because then you could see this even from a distance that is beyond the usual chunk load. Here's another shot from inside of his castle. I hope this is on the second floor, but I think it is because he does have a vault hatch here. So the zombies should be coming in below and not destroying all of his stuff here, which happened in this last video playthrough of Alpha 18 when he had the demolishers and cops exploding inside his base, taking out his storage, which really sucked. And he's been making some use of some of the cosmetic items here, and I hope that he feels that, hey, you know, yes, you can make a fireplace, you can make a table here, but hey, it would be cool if we had more cosmetic things. I really think that would be very helpful. Of course, people who've been following me know I've made this expanded decorative model that basically takes a lot, maybe at most, if not all of the decorative objects, and allows you to craft them. Just a vanilla object, it's basically just providing crafting recipes through the shape menu, but I wish they would do that as part of the base game as well. And you can see here some more example of the nice lighting. I mean, this looks really nice and vibrant, and he is just about to start his Blood Moon Horde, the third week of Blood Moon Horde, and you can see he has his piston turret, and I believe this actually will turn and track towards zombies and basically extend the piston and give it a firm bash. Looking at this picture, my first impression was, is he going to fight it out in the open? No, no, no. It looks like he's put his base very close to the trader. I believe this is the same piston turret as we see here, and this is the door frame on the left side. So this is where his base is located. So it is definitely reinforced concrete. Maybe it's upgraded from last time, but we'll see how that turns out. I would love to see him go through that in a video. And like any of the version, when I pulled back and doing some of the videos recently, I actually went back to a previous version of the game, and compared to what we have right now, even in Alpha 19, it definitely looks much better. And I think Alpha 19 is going to be the same. And you see here's the new axe model, the stone axe model. It looks slightly different than the taskbar, but here in the hand, it definitely looks much more awesome. And I'm not really sure whether this is the best weapon against one of the zombies, but, you know, either way, it's going to be bashing it in the head, and looks like a new HD zombie as well. I'm not sure which one it is, but it definitely looks really good. And maybe it's the new lighting that they've been doing, where you can see the reflection here that looks really nice out of this half shiny wood. You can sort of saw this reddish in the background, which I think is partially because of the wallpaper, but also the light that is there, and the very gooey meal that they've been eating, the past residents. And finally, for you builders out there, they have a new cement mixer. And apparently, based on what's been discussed on the forum, it's going to be gasoline driven. And I think that there's going to be a small motor here. So it's not just going to be one of the cement mixers that we have in previous versions where you dump things in and it all works magically. No, no, no. Now you have to put in gasoline and it'll work like, I guess, like an engine in some way, like a electrical generator. But it's not going to be hooked up to the electrical grid because there were some issues with making that work. So it's going to be its own standalone thing. But maybe now it'll actually increase the heat in the area, so you'll be getting zombies because of the noise and sound pollution. And there are going to be a host of changes for Alpha 19, and this was just a small one that I picked up where Madball is saying that and is referring to the first aid kit and the sewing kit are the only things that can get rid of deep laceration. So they're changing how some of these things work. So if you're getting a deep cut, well, sorry, you can't just apply a normal bandage. No, no, no. You need to use a sewing kit to sew it up, or first aid kit, which presumably has a kit to actually close the deep lacerations. So look for a game release of Alpha 19 Experimental to the streamers around the 19th or 26th of June, which means the general experimental release on the 22nd or the 29th, barring any unforeseen issues that the FunPimps run into. And hey, if it's not those dates, it'll be in July. Or maybe August. But no. I'm sure they're really targeting the dates that I've been talking about, because that's when you get the Steam sale, and that's when they get a lot of sale of the game, because they get a lot of hype. But what are you most excited about for Alpha 19? What would you really like them to do? Or what have you picked up from going through the forums and reading? Let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you next time.
Special thanks to the great patrons supporting the channel. If you would like to join the vetted community and support these videos, do follow the Patreon link.